How's it going, guys? My name is Lance Lynn, and today I am going to be introducing you to the Loaded Bolsa II. I'm going to talk about the board a bit, I'm going to talk about some of the available setups, and I'm also going to talk about how I have modified my board to do what I'd like. So, a couple things about the board. It is 9.4 inches in width. You're going to have 16 holes drilled in the top. That means you have options when it comes to wheelbase. You can choose to be on a 16-inch wheelbase, which is our tightest wheelbase, or you can choose the outer holes, which is 17.5, and if you're a surf skater, maybe you find yourself somewhere in between. You're rocking a little bit of the inner and the outer. So, right off the bat, my first impressions of this board are noticing the wheel flares are real steep in comparison to some other boards that I've seen. The pockets are a bit deep. The board has functional concave and nose and tail. So the nose and tail being functional are a huge plus for this board, for me at least. I like to add a lot of style and flair into my riding, and the nose and tail are something that I feel very comfortable popping an ollie, a kickflip, things like that off of. Between the steep wheel flares and the concave, I have something I can flick at for kickflips. Being able to choose the wheelbase is also a huge plus. The tighter wheelbase, so it's 16 inches, is going to be more agile, more nimble. The wider wheelbase is going to give me a little bit more of a stable ride. I might be able to pump a little bit more aggressively or with more power if I'm on that wide wheelbase. Change the wheelbase is going to change when the board makes contact with the ground. So being on the wider wheelbase means the board is going to snap off the ground a little bit steeper. It gives me a little bit more pop. So I ride the wider wheelbase with my Paris setup, the inner wheelbase with my surf skate setup. I believe it's going to come with yellow fat freeze. This is a great wheel if you're planning on doing a little bit of a hybrid skating style. So the fat free is a really soft wheel. It's going to feel very soft. It's going to feel smooth. It's going to feel fast. It's one thing I really like about the O-Tanks, and in particular this wheel being a little bit lighter makes it all right to pop off the ground. Normally when you have bigger, softer urethane wheel, it's harder to get off the ground because of the weight, but I feel like this is a really good hybrid setup here. It's something I can cruise around with ease. I don't have to worry about the rocks and the pebbles, but I'm still able to pop off the ground with it. So the Paris setup, like I said, I'm riding this with the wider wheelbase. This is a setup that I can do grinds on. You notice a lot of damage up here. I've been skating ledges with it. I'll take it to the skate park. I'll skate the bowls with it, do grinds in there. I've been doing a lot of flat ground freestyle with this board because it has kind of more of a functional nose and tail. I can do my pivots, I can walk on the board, do a little longboard dancing. When I'm doing the freestyle and the longboard dancing, I'm modifying my style just a little bit to accommodate this board because it's a little bit of a shorter wheelbase for longboard dancing. It's a little bit of a bigger board for freestyle, but just kind of speaks to the diverse ride styles you can do on this board. So the wider wheel flares or the steeper wheel flares are going to keep the board from getting wheel bind as easily. They've even dremeled out a layer in their final edition of the board. The graphic isn't totally flat, so when I rub my fingers against it, I can kind of feel they've embossed, I believe is the word. I might be using the wrong one. But there's texture that goes along with the graphic, so where you're seeing these threads, I can actually feel it with my hand. Makes it a little bit more comfortable holding it, and if I were to be doing bonelesses, if I'm doing airs and bowls, if I'm doing tiger claws, things like that, I have something a little bit more secure to grip to. So now I'm going to talk about the surf skate versions that are available. I only really need to have 2 of these boards in my van at any moment. I think 3 would just be a little excessive, and I don't think I get enough use out of that C7. So I have the CX here. That's my preferred of surf skate trucks. I have the hollows on there, which is not stock. I put hollows on because I happen to have some. I figure if I can cut the little bit of weight, might as well. The only difference between the stock and the hollows is you're going to notice a hollow axle, hollow kingpin. I believe they did a little bit of reduction to the base plate on the inside of it to kind of eliminate some weight. The CX stock setup, I believe, is going to come with the purple nipples in the back, orange nipples in the front. So the purple is a little bit stiffer. It's a higher rebound bushing, meaning when I dump into my heel side and toe side carbs, the board is going to more smoothly transition between that right side up to the tipped in stage instead of having a softer bushing that's going to kind of more freely fall into place This gives you more of a gradual ease into it. And because it's a stiffer bushing, it's got a lot of rebound. It's going to spring me back to flat or to level with a little bit more ease. And so I'm going to generate a lot more speed using a high rebound bushing in the back. This is also a high rebound bushing in the front, but it's a little bit softer than that rear bushing. The softer is going to make things a little bit easier for me to do toe side and heel side dives. The board's going to feel like it's really dropping into my toes, dropping into my heels, and it's going to make that surf skate feeling feel a little bit more natural. Allows me to flow a little bit better, I feel like. But I still have that spring, that rebound, just a little bit less out of the front than I would with the back truck. Now, another version that's available is the C7. The C7 is going to sway a little bit more so than it's going to do a toe or a heel side dive. A lot of surfers prefer the C7. It's a little bit more of a unique feel, whereas the CX is going to feel a little bit more like your traditional skateboard in comparison between the two. So I find with my skate background, the CX feels a little bit more friendly. It's a little bit more responsive. It's tailored more to my skate style. There's a lot of people who really prefer the C7 over the CX. That's a total preference thing. And I believe both of those setups are still going to come with frat frees. Not 100% sure they may come with love handles. But you can check that out on their website and make sure that you're getting exactly what you'd like before you order it. So this board here, ignore the fact that it isn't dremeled out. Ignore the fact that the texture isn't embossed. This is one of their prototypes. It wasn't quite the final draft. But when it comes to the surf skate setups, I ride the inner wheelbase because I want the board to feel as nimble, as agile as I can get it. I want it to make the sharpest corners I can. And I found myself using this setup mainly if I'm at the pump track or if I'm cruising on the beach and I just want to put some headphones in. I want something that feels very flowing, very rhythmic, not putting a lot of thought or attention into my riding. I'm more so doing it because I enjoy the feel, and that's how I prefer to surf skate. If I were to choose between the two boards, it's normally the mood I'm in or what I'm seeking out of this setup. Different people are going to ride it different ways. Some people do grinds on the CX. Some people do grinds on the C7. The CX is much more preferred if it were to come down to grinds between the two. Like I said, total preference thing. I would ride the C7 if I was cruising on the boardwalk and I wanted to just have a very flowing, intentionally unique ride, which a lot of people are looking for out of the surf skate trucks. So you'll find your preference. If you ever have the option to try a CX versus a C7 on the spot, always take that opportunity because they're very unique. They're very different in the way they feel. And if you haven't had a chance to try them both, it's kind of tough to make that decision. But I feel like there's a lot of information available on just those two trucks, so I don't want to go too deep into it. But I see this board being used for a lot of purposes. This is a really diverse board. If you're planning on doing a lot of surf skating with it, you have your surf skate options. If you want to do more of the flip tricks and more of the technical riding, the board shape is phenomenal for it. I'm not getting any wheel bite out of it unless I'm on the CX and I've modified that and I'm about to hit the ground because I probably shouldn't be moving that steep anyways. But I'm real grateful for this board. I think Chewy and the team did a phenomenal job creating something that wasn't on the market, creating something that wasn't in their arsenal, and making a board with great intention. So I think that they're going to market this pretty heavily towards people riding the pump track. Pump track is an increasingly available thing. They're popping up all over the place. People love them. And if you're that guy who wants to go to the pump track and you're looking for your first board for it, this is it. Maybe it's not the best board for you because every person is going to be a little bit different, but I think you're going to enjoy your time on the pump track with this board. I use it for a variety of different things. I'm sure you will find a variety of different things to use yours for. But I really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any further questions, feel free to let me know. Don't forget to subscribe. The link is in the bio below if you're interested in checking out any of Loaded's other products, this board itself. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on the board. So how you've modified it, your experiences with it. Until next time, thank you so much. Catch you later.